draft advantage now, as they're also going to have the information off the ring console too. Gaming Gladiators trailing right behind, as you mentioned, the really quick rotate. And they won't be the only ones, because Sentinels do something very similar once they get their own ring console. For Fun already on the move, as well as Team Nemesis, because there's a bit of a pile-up over by Hammond. It's the fight for that ring console, or rather over by Humbert, where there's that ring console over on that southern side. And Team Nemesis are looking at Zeddy. There's another team there too to try to go in for a 3P.
Triple white, that's all right. It's kind of close to getting our ults already in case something does break out here in Humbert. The portal up towards the high ground. I'd imagine they're quite aware of it. Yurice is going to preemptively slam the wall down. Arufa across the way, but they're not the only ones that are going to be in contention, as so many people have moved toward the full east.
Man, that's going to be a big pile to definitely keep your eyes on, because also NIP are right behind them, while TRN, a team who is sitting on the very end of this lobby standings. PXX are looking for some easy pickings as they find Rai again, being one of the first to go down. Just trying to survive here when you lose out on two, leaving them down to a solo, but also considering the amount of ultras that we have. To see if that player does manage to get away, but it's PXX looking to clean that up, only leaving Trinity as a solo with just the Gibby alive.
Okay, but AG Global and KINOTROPE here now on your screen. Niazo looks to wrap around to see if we can find. Through the mobile shield we go. The electrified Bub is already down. And we've got the PK in hand, Purple Bolt. But we portal through, back we go, behind the wall, a bit of safety, but we've already been shredded apart by damage that we have to invest. The Gibby ult, the defensive environment to slam hopefully down and keep them on their great escape.
Also in the feed, by the way, Team Nemesis, VKG, that pilot that we were looking at earlier before is looking a little grim. Zeddy as well as Reject, NIP also in the vicinity, while KNC are looking to rotate on the outskirts of Energy Bank, but would love to see that Humbert Labs pilot that we're going to have with those 4 different teams. AG also looking to get the res here. Nizul's going to be able to get away with that safely for now, but KNC will hear this and try to show face while they bring Honwadis in.
Yeah, I'm okay with letting this happen and wait to fight them on the way into the rotation, right? KINOTROPE, Deep Cross Gaming. Deep Cross Gaming with a Western POI is likely going to be in the vicinity, but you can see the shots coming through as Yanya takes a bit of damage. We don't have the Mother Load available should the break out, but a Riot Drill will force him outside of cover. Deep Cross Gaming, we talked about it, Roy making an approach, and their comms in particular are very set on like, hey, we can take this fight, let's jump on it, and if your Knuckle Cluster takes down Yanya, you have a 3v2. So we're throwing all of our abilities at them to be able to cross that path in time.
Oh, but look who's waiting for them from DCG, now trying to be able to try to hold a split angle, leaving that player to feel the pressure. AG Global now on the run, while Sentinels also farm out, find Stay Naughty. Seeing if they can try to get that reset. Again, remember, you have to consider the altar as the feed is lighting up right now. It's still that pile up over by Labs that we have hinted at. Sentinels have now moved up inside the building that you can expect a zone like this to pull towards, and unfortunately, Shubi is the victim on the other side of Monsoon's rampage.
When you think about teams that get the zone pulling to the top of their head, we talked about JD Gaming in Heights already having that. Now with one player left on that squad, having to full send and a negative rotate to hit a regain. For now, they're okay. But Sentinels, you inherit power position. For Fun Esports have also moved into there, and Deep Cross Gaming still on the trek across E-District have found now AG Global. The fight that's been going on, they meet again.
Oh my, they were able to get the knock though right before he was able to take the TP. They try to bring him in and then he gets finished because they're going to prevent that from happening.
Yanya said no.
Not this time around. DCG now just running around as a duo and getting burned in the back. Elite now in RC, this is the fight that we really wanted to highlight because we saw that kill feed lighting up. NIP were part of the action. Elite 2 now making their way from Old Town. It's because the information that Old Town provides leads them to all the action. The invite may have gotten lost in the mail. Albert Laley is also going to be able to find that next knock onto Deeds.
AG is sending. They are sending Deep Cross. They want to evict them from this lobby.
Getting me whiplash. You're going to be seeing fights in every angle here because Albert Lily then gets the followed up knock onto D, but it's not going to be enough as AG are also on the hunt. Sure, we're seeing these side by side, but AG are playing out of their minds. Team Nemesis getting eliminated while Alliance up on the high ground over onto the north side, all the way, by the way, to Electrodynamo outside of zone.
And JD Gaming off the reset. Alliance are sitting here looking for the 3 KP they want. Shubi behind the mobile shield, a Mastiff to the face, courtesy of Aku. Did anyone escape? Where are we running to? Okay, we have one player left again of JDG to try to reset elsewhere. Team Nemesis, on the other hand, did fall.
Yeah, we saw that earlier with the pilot that we have seen over by Labs, but with a lot of these teams now taking to the sky, Alliance managing to stay alive after playing so deep into Electro. Fight for the survey and the KP, they know what's at stake. JD Gaming are alive just as a solo, it looks like here, and Alliance gets to freely rotate into Galleria where there is that survey beacon. With a side-by-side of how this zone is pulling and the teams that are going to be rotating over to that south side, it was NIP who managed to hold down Humbert Labs. You could currently also see Zeddy who are going to rotate towards Reject, closer to Stadium side. They didn't really like the way that the fight was going. They're feeling that pressure. They do manage to get away with that huge pileup that we saw earlier, and they're going to be able to call in an evac tower to rotate in.
This is so scary. You've got an infinite ammo rampage behind an amped cover from ultimate height in a power position in the next circle. Sentinels are looking to get some points here, and it's well needed considering top 2, you know, you're situated around 50 points. We're at 19. We can definitely usurp a lot. And back to the replay we go to see what happened when they took down JDG, or at least a duo of them, sent them running.
We saw that a little bit earlier, but it highlights how they were able to get up onto the high ground because a lot of these end zones end up pulling onto the outskirts of either that building or even a little bit over to the lip side of the left onto the high ground that overlooks the waterfall. Alliance now moving up. Remember, we highlighted how there was nobody in Galleria when they made their rotate originally. They got the survey beacon, so they know that there could be teams that come in from their backs, such as AG Global, who were able to get the full reset as a highlight. While JD Gaming, unfortunate for them, not as lucky here, but they're trailing slightly behind, hoping that AG Global do not call them out as they're going to take a much slower rotate out of Energy Bank.
Alliance still carving their path. KINOTROPE just up ahead. I saw some GK. We got VKG in the mix. You had 3 charges on the defensive bombardment there from Hackett, so have to be a little wary of what they're going to be able to do. Casa probably has some as well, but that breach hamlock to try and make them maneuver out into their line of sight. Yeah, that'll do.
The triple bombardment perk as well here, just looking ahead while holding onto the high ground. VK Gaming, the headlock, oh my gosh! Holy! Through the window to the wall.
And that is the opening that VKG needed. Will they be able to get there? Is Drop still on the ground? Nock doesn't have a ton of shields left, and through the upwards area they go. Electrified bubble down, and they're like, we have a home now.
Zooming outside of that, want no business, now flipping sides too. GK are looking to restabilize VK Gaming. Look ahead! With the 210 off the Kraber. Now get ready, set, go. Not committing onto the zipline because they have the TP instead, rocking the altar themselves to get up onto the high ground just as quickly. Now trying to fully set it. This is going to be important considering they only have 11 points in total after the last 4 games. Looking to boost that up. They see the Gibby dome though. Not trying to overextend, but there's a shots from a distance. I'm seeing those charged up Sentinel shots. Could it possibly be? That would be insane if it was actually Sentinels in the distance, because that's just something Monsoon would do, but having to see if any of these players do get griefed from this POI. GK now moving up onto the roof, not fully sending it after they heard the rest coming in, while Alliance take another fight.
They need every point that they can get, and they've got 2 members of Trinity down on the ground, and we're pretty healthy for Alliance here, so the KP is stacking until Volts answers back. We're delaying the inevitable. You may take Hackus. A death box recovery will be likely, but Aku and Unlucky need to unite together. Do not give him isolated 1v1s.
It doesn't.
And Trinity's down.
Trinity going down, it's looking even more grim for this team, and it's looking a little grim right now as Unlucky is the last one alive for Alliance. Booking it because they're one of the few teams that don't get that reset potential, by the way. It's not like they're going to be able to have that altar. Instead, with Unlucky being on that Newcastle, he's going to have to skedaddle away, see if he can get to that replicator right back over to Galleria if he hasn't already used it. maybe get the res over onto the Moby unless he could get into the edge of zone, but he won't be alone with AGG as well as JD Gaming playing on the other side of that Galleria, and with him being one literally with the white Evo. Shubi unfortunately falls victim. Yanya now looking ahead but not fully committing to the mother load as the suppressed fire does come in from the other player of JD Gaming.
I'm sighing because JD Gaming yet again get a full reset and then get full sent by a team that realizes it is a double res. AG Global looking to get to the top of the leaderboard, recognize the fact they can capitalize on that. And now JD Gaming is down to a solo yet again for the third time.
It's not been easy, man. Alliance at the very least though. I've been looking to reset. Looks like it's a duo. Zeddy also move in from the other side. AGG are fixing their PXX and IP though. Sitting with 26 points, 17 spots still left. It's dome for dome. As Zeddy move up and Curve is trying to lead the way. They're trying to contest him from the other side of this building. But it's so many of these teams as NIP, they lose out on one. JD Gaming, by the way, you mentioned as a solo, finally go down. Linkster's going to be able to pick that up, while Zeta's going to be able to find 2 knocks onto NIP. This is crucial, only leaving Cole alive. Oh, but through the dome, Zeta, they come out of another fight. NIP get eliminated. This is big because the 3P, though, is within the vicinity. It's going to be elite, and Zeta have also been able to call that out on where that next zone pool is.
RRQ, 19th place in our current series, have recognized the timing of this fight. We swing around straight onto Zeta, and it's easy flash on the opener. A nice disengage for him with a quick portal back alongside the team. They recognize, hey, maybe if we get a quick knock on that, this is something we can invest our time in. Doesn't necessarily go their way. They retreat and recognize we can just go north into the circle. However, though, there's still a lot of teams to fight for such a small space.
Well, what came in clutch was having the evac tower right there, because then they would have been forced to be out in the line of sight of RRQ, but AG, we talked about this before, and the way that this pileup is looking like on the northern side of the zone, they can't catch a break. Yanya getting eviscerated. Haguatis looking behind. They saw the dome before and they said, all right, let's go for a reset. It's the insurance once again. Coming in when they need, because they put down that TP on the edge of that next zone. It's good call now because round 4 is about to close in behind their backs in the next second.
I don't even know if the Knuckle Cluster made it through the bub. I would have to rewatch that, but I love that they disengaged to reset. Still, for fun, in the neighboring building, VKG live yet longer. Good standoff for them. RRQ have to deal with Zeta on the other side. They must go through Zeta to get to circle. An easy flash, repositioning with a longbow, trying to clip the wings off the Valk. Doesn't quite connect.
Sentinels were trying to bank on that building that they were holding the high ground for before eventually pulls outside as RRQ. Oh my, one shot literally as he finds a last pick onto Pricey. Easy flash, looking ahead before diving between both of these domes. Oh, but the third party through the wall. Here's Johnny. Blast also following up. Strafing's gonna be able to go in for a huge nade. He gets a knock. He needs some help. GK, take the portal back. The Void Breacher giving him a little bit of respite before looking ahead, though. And it's gonna be GK, who are now on the other side of this choke, uncontested, no 3P, because Elite are not moving from their building. They're in that next zone. And with RRQ also moving back because they took their own TP. It looked like a bloodbath. It was incredibly scary. Now we look at the action with AGG trying again, round number 2.
And we go again. Niazul down.
Way.
1 charge left on the defensive bombardment. And I think we're looking to try and clean this up. But for fun, they leave the building just ahead of them. They can't afford to leave that building, BKG, to push AG Global without getting third-partied. It makes things difficult, so you take to the sky.
You get the Deathbox res here, too. I mean, if you have to reset, why not reset right in front of their face while VKG take to the skies and get the information off the Valkyrie UAV. 12 squads left. By the way, knocked. Is going crazy. AG can't catch a break. Haguatis is knocked again. Look at this. He's literally shielding him while he tries to get another Deathbox res. Yanya, the last one alive after they get the finishing blow here. Haguatis, can he come back? Nizul didn't look like he had any more of that knockdown shield, by the way, because he had like a white knockdown shield. Oh my gosh, the Kraber! He commits! That is insane to do. No fear. Holding on for dear life. And at this point with RC now getting the follow-up knock onto Tyler for fun, still playing off this building, and RC giving him some help, has knocked once again, not Haguatis.
Arufa trying to do what he can as a solo. The The ring is collapsing. We have to go. Game and Gladiators earlier had annihilated Zeddy Esports to take their building, so they'll be able to rotate on the other side. You can see them just ahead. But Synetic, Nags, we likely are trying to get Tyler up if we can. We need all our players for endgame. And the next battle against Sentinels. But GG, the mother load. Everything invested, the electric bubble. We've got the Dark Veil down. We want to secure our position.
Everything's on the table here. Welcome to the circus. Nade for nade. The Dome Alliance get eliminated. They had one heck of a game though, the way that they were able to survive for as long as they did, but they only got 4 KP as GG Sentinels still alive. 11 squads left. And this is so split up. Really, the less congested side of the zone is the western side, but Sentinels have fought to be here. Look at the house that they've set up with these amp barriers too to add on top of it all, while Kinda finds Lufka. Strafing Flame then gets the Grand Slam, more than enough damage on RQ. Now move up and found GK.
And Gaming Gladiators have fallen, and now KINOTROPE with a third party onto RRQ. Pricey Portal's back. They live, they reset. But they're separated. For Fun has fallen, and KINOTROPE is still hunting down Strafing. And RRQ is out. Elite have fallen, and KINOTROPE are now clearing out the side.
2 KP and climbing. Playing safe to reset and isolated on the northern side of this zone. To their side is Sentinels, TIE, who are running very similar comps, right? And then you take a look at the solos, by the way. The fact that AG Global is still alive, the fuse is another level. RC2, by the way, with a Valkyrie. Playing on opposite ends. KINOTROPE, though, are trying to capitalize off of this. Before moving up, they have the Valkyrie ult, so they probably were also able to get a scan if they could, but it actually is walking through. They find Rufa, who's trying to hide behind the fence line. Sending out that Arc Star here, but not trying to overcommit, especially since it's cleared this side of the zone.
4 full teams of 3, 2 solos. Sentinels with Fun on Rampart, ready to let Sheila rip if we can just get behind an amp cover. But first, you've got to rip VKG off your head, and so many Arc Stars are being thrown. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Blinkster to fall, and Casa letting the PK rip. The push comes in. Sentinels are out. Into the top 5 we go.
Has another dome out here. Sentinels out, as you've mentioned, and hiding behind the wall here from the Newcastle. It's going to be KNC TIE. AG is still alive. For how long is the question? With our last 3 full teams reject, get eliminated. KNC are looking ahead, though. They're seeing at BKG. TIE may look at AGG, but a huge A coming in from the other side.
All right, I love a good Skynade. Yanya down and out. That was our last solo. You're right, 3 full teams of 3, and KINOTROPE, our final boss status. For now, it's Spider-Man meme across. We're all staring at each other. The wall invested to cut them off from KINOTROPE, but Ty sends them.
Your former EWC champions are trying to stay alive. That is VKG. But currently, KINOTROPE are looking at the pileup in front of them. Can they clean it up as VKG get eliminated? This is all for KINOTROPE to take home. The bombardment, though, have to be careful here. Playing out the dome, you get the L-Star, and that's all you need. As KINOTROPE with the pop-off, they take game number 5 with 6 KP.